Hi everyone, it's Stephanie here and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be creating this card, and this card was inspired by a card that design team member Melania created. This is her card, and she used all products from the new March release, and we're going to recreate the card in today's class, but we're going to change up a couple of things. So I am going to keep the design of the card completely the same. I'm just going to change up the colors that we're going to use to stamp the flowers, and then we're going to also use some different cardstock colors as well as a different glitter paper. So the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp out all of my flowers. So I have pure plum, cotton candy, and ripe raspberry. This is a nice transition of light, medium, and dark pink colors. And I'm going to stamp a bunch of the flowers here so that we have all of our flowers stamped and die cut and ready to go when we start to assemble the card. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm stamping the lightest pink color first, and I'm doing the most solid portion of the stamp with that lightest color. And then I'm just going to repeat the stamping process with the second and the third stamps on each of those flowers. Now I'm doing all of the solid layers first so that I can use the same ink color all at the same time. And then when I go to the middle areas here, I'm not going to actually use the Misty. I still have my panel in there, but I'm just using the acrylic block to add in those center areas. Mainly because they're just pretty small images, so it's a lot quicker to just use an acrylic block and quickly stamp those. So once I finish with the pink flowers, I flip the panel upside down, and now I'm repeating the process with some more of the solid flowers. And this time I'm using Snow Cone, Summer Splash, and Tropical Teal ink, and I'm just stamping those 3 layers for those flowers. And then I'm finishing off with my gray flowers. So for these ones here, I'm using Grout Gray, Gravel Gray, and Cement Gray. Usually you don't see gray flowers, but I really love the look of stamped flowers that have a little bit of gray mixed in. I just think it's such a pretty look, and I just love that color combination of the pink, gray, and the light blue. I stamped the 2 leaf clusters with Limelight ink, and then I took all of these to my die cutting machine with the coordinating dies and cut all of them out. So now they're all ready to go and we can start to work on the card. So for the sentiment, I have this Hearts in a Row vertical Die-namics. I'm going to use a small banner from that. I have the new elegant rectangle STAX dies, and I have the 2 largest from that. And we're going to create a card base that has a shape to it rather than just have a standard rectangle card. So I created my card base from Grout Gray cardstock, and this is an A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And I have the fold on the long side of the card. I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine with the largest of the elegant rectangle STAX dies, and I'm going to let it hang off the top of the card. So the very top of the card there is where the fold is, and I'm going to let the die kind of go above that so that when we die cut this, we don't actually cut out the full shape. We're only going to cut the shape along the 2 sides and the very bottom, and it's going to leave the top intact so that it still opens and closes like a card. So I ran that through my die cutting machine, and you can see now when we remove the die that rather than having just a rectangle shape, we have this elegant design with this rectangle die, and we still have the fold at the top since we didn't cut all the way through with the die. Now I've also cut out a white cardstock panel with the same die set. I used the second largest, so it's going to fit within the card base we've created. And I'm just using an ink blending tool with some Peacock Feathers ink on it, and I didn't add any additional ink. I just used what was already on my blending foam. And I'm just adding a bit of color all the way around this panel just to give it a really nice defined edge. And then I'm going to adhere this onto the card base. And like I said, since it is the smaller of the 2 dies, it fits perfectly within that card base that we've created. So now I can go ahead and start to assemble all of the flowers and the leaves on the card. So what I did is I added adhesive to all of the different pieces at the very beginning. So then that way I could just kind of start adding them to the card, and all of them already had adhesive on the back. So I kind of created a cluster on the left side, just as Melania did on her card, and then I created a second one on the right side of the card. And then once I had them all positioned where I wanted them, it was time to put the sentiment on. So for the sentiment, we're first going to die cut the word friend from Silver Sparkle cardstock, so I have that die cut here. And you can see how nice and large it is. It really takes the focus of the card, and I love how it kind of blends with those flower images. But I did feel like it got a little bit lost on the card, so I die cut a second word friend from Steel Gray cardstock, and I'm going to layer the sparkle one over top of the darker gray one, and I'm going to kind of offset them to create a bit of a shadow in behind that sparkle word. And that's just going to help to have that kind of stand out against those flower images, and you're just going to be able to see the word a little bit better than we did before we had the shadow. And then for the secondary sentiment, I decided to stamp that one with blue raspberry ink onto this Grout Gray sentiment banner that we've already die cut, just because I thought it would look nice with the blue flowers that we've added, and I just thought it would be a nice soft look for the rest of the card. So I'm adhering the word friend directly onto the card front now with some liquid adhesive, and then I'm just going to adhere the little banner directly underneath of that to finish our sentiment. And now we have this completed card with this beautiful assortment of flowers and this really nice bold greeting on top. Once I had the greeting and all of the flowers added to the card, I did decide to add a couple of sequins to this as well. So I added a clear sequin to the bottom area and 2 to the top, and then I filled the centers of those with some stardust stickles. So that is going to complete our card today. I kind of refer to mine as the cool version and Melania's the warm version. She used really beautiful beige colors and some really nice warm colors on hers, and I think the end result was beautiful. And I just thought it would be nice to show a different variation on the exact same design but with some different colors. So thank you so much to Melania for creating this beautiful card that we could recreate in today's class. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video soon.